ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
And we're back like we never left. It is Live Zone. It is Eric. We are here on Off the Ropes. As always, we told you we were going to be here weekly. Eric, we got a lot of wrestling to talk about, but before we do that, how you doing? Is everything good?
We certainly do have a lot to talk about. I'm glad to be here for week 2 of my stay here on Off the Ropes. Lots to talk about, so I'm really excited to get right into it.
All right. So we're gonna head over into some Elimination Chamber. If you're a WWE fan, you definitely watched the Elimination Chamber, and you definitely saw a lot of crazy things happen on that night, even though they claimed that it wasn't the best that they could do for that Elimination Chamber afterwards. First thing we're going to be talking about is Jade and Naomi. We talked about when Jade was going to come back. We talked about what we thought was going to happen. You said that it was going to be Naomi. I said that it was going to be Bianca. Why did Jade actually go after Naomi? Is it because Naomi attacked her? Or is it because Naomi took her spot as a tag team champion?
I think now that we've had this kind of new part developing, I think Jade is under the impression that Naomi has attacked her. I don't know if she got that idea from Liv and Raquel, if she got the idea from someone who isn't involved in the storyline yet. So right now, Jade attacking Naomi in that style, I mean, that was vicious. It was really well done. She took her apart. Bianca in the pod losing her mind. They posted something on social media afterward with her reaction, and she, I think, made that even better. So in my opinion, Jade is very much under the impression that Naomi is the attacker, which goes along with what I said last week. But like you said, there could be a lot more to it. There could be a mystery attacker. It could be Bianca. So I think that's where we're standing right now.
Well, as you said before here, we can't really make Bianca Belair a heel, so it made sense to keep her as a face. I don't think it was the right idea to have her win the Elimination Chamber, but keeping her as the face and making Jade look like the heel, it made a lot of sense. So now we have the best version of Jade, and we have the best version of Bianca, and honestly, I could see them going at it for the title after WrestleMania. I really do think that Jade is just under. I think Jade is just mad that Bianca replaced quote unquote Jade with Naomi, and now Jade is taking out her frustrations on Naomi. And I think we're going to see Jade go to where she needs to be, and that's as a heel. I don't think that Jade's best character is a face. I don't think that Jade is a a good guy or a good girl, whatever you want to call it. So therefore, I think that this was the anchor that needed to happen to make Jade and a heel and to make this storyline the best that it could be. Because honestly, like we said last week, these two need to have a rivalry. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are two of the best female wrestlers in the last decade. So, like we were saying last week. So, I love how it happened. I love that they made Jade look like the heel. She came out in all black like she did in AEW. She's not wearing the white and everything anymore. I love it. I love what I'm seeing from WWE and their storytelling. But this is exactly what needed to happen with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Once again, I don't think Bianca Belair should have won. I thought that somebody like Alexa Bliss or Liv Morgan should have won in the Elimination Chamber. I'm not mad where they are. It looks like we're going to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, which we will get into later. But what I'm seeing is that it's long-term storytelling, which WWE has been doing very good at in the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a lot of people kind of involved with this right now. We're going to get into it a little bit later when we talk about Rhea Ripley. It could be going towards a situation where you have a triple threat match and eventually lead into Bianca and Jade. But again, I'll talk a little bit, more later why I think it could be even more than just a triple threat.
Oh, okay. More than just a triple threat. I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm seeing. We're going to now just touch base on what we're seeing here. The whole world is shocked.
Whole world.
2003 was the last time that we saw this happen.
Yep.
John Cena is now a heel. John Cena went back and he shook the hand of Cody Rhodes, looked at The Rock, and The Rock did the little thing that he did, and then Cena finally turned heel. The thing that we never thought would happen happened at the Elimination Chamber. So if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. I know you probably heard of it by
You've
now.
seen clips.
Yeah, you've seen the clips, but you didn't see what actually transpired into it in the last few weeks. The Rock wanting Cody Rhodes' soul, and The Rock wanting Cody to join The Rock and everything and be his champion, for everything to just fall apart, for him to say, "Listen, Rock, go F yourself." And then after that, the turn from John Cena, we never thought that we were going to see. How are you feeling about it? What's your thoughts on it? Could there be more to come with this? And if so, what are we looking at?
Well, of course, there's going to be more to come. This is obviously going to be the headline storyline going into WrestleMania, I feel, even more than any other probably match that's going to happen. It's probably going to take precedence. I personally loved it. First of all, we're seeing a lot on social media. I hate to get on the bandwagon, but I have to in this situation. I enjoyed it very much once I realized exactly what was happening. The best moments in pro wrestling are when you are shocked and you don't necessarily see it coming. We talked a lot about the Elimination Chamber last week. We didn't necessarily think that this was happening now. We thought, oh, maybe Mania, maybe he'll be doing something there. But I look back at it when I take a step back, and then the days that followed, walking around and my non-wrestling friends telling me what the heck just happened with John Cena and what is going on. So I think that's just a testament to how impressive that storytelling was, that it's transcended more than just WWE and wrestling fans. It's gotten to mainstream media, other professional leagues. I've seen MLB posting on Instagram about it. So I think that is just another reason why it's so good for the WWE. For the story itself, I literally screamed no at my television, which I haven't done since Seth Rollins cashed in when I was a little kid, and I still thought that there wasn't a script.
There you go.
So it's different. They've got to make sure that they use it now to benefit all parties involved, because you don't want to make John Cena's last year just get thrown under the rug for an idea that doesn't work. I believe in them that it will work, and we just got to see how.
All right. So I'm gonna give you both sides of the spectrum, because I'm halfway through both sides. So I loved it. I love the way that they did it. I don't necessarily think it had to be The Rock that aligned with John Cena. When we look at it, right, John Cena, he has a lot of rivalries in the early 2000s to 2010s and everything like that. There's about four names that pop up the most out of everybody when it comes to these rivalries. One is Edge. Next is Randy Orton. Next is The Rock. then it's Batista. So if you look at that, why are we having John Cena and The Rock be put together? It's like it's almost as if we were to say put Undertaker and Randy Orton together. Right? It's one of the biggest rivalries. Why are they now together? So I don't like that aspect of it. But there is a lot of intriguing things. We haven't seen John Cena as a heel since 2003. He did his best work in my eyes in 2003 when he was Thugonomics John Cena. Since then, he's been the baby face of the company and he's been the poster boy for the company. And now, after everything that is imploded, Cena sucks, you can't wrestle chance, everything that goes in one ear out the other. Finally, we saw his frustration and he finally turned heel. I love that part. Why didn't this happen in 2013, 2014 when it was supposed to happen? That's my question. Is like we're past his prime now. We're past where we should have been on this. Like he should have been doing this in 2013, 2014 because it would have made even more waves back then. My point to it is I love what happened. I just don't know if I see him being a heel in his last year of his career. Now, I will say they've done a great job with it. They have done a phenomenal job with it. People are raving about it 24/7, and I'm still hearing people talk about it that are, like you said, not wrestling fans. So obviously, it did something that needed to be happened a long time ago. So now my point is what's going to happen? Are we going to see John Cena really push that NWO factor where he has his own faction like Hulk Hogan did in the 90s? Are we going to see John Cena win the 17th world title like we should? Are we going to see him win it for a minute? Or are we going to see him win it until the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania? That's where it starts kicking in that John Cena's last year is now. And he's one of the biggest merch sellers, and we're going to watch him be a heel and be hated. So once again, I love what happened. I'm not taking away what happened at the Elimination Chamber. I love the way they did it. But in my eyes, they just did it a little bit too late. But if it was Cena's decision and if it's what Cena wanted, hell, Cena gets what he wants at this point because
Yep.
honestly, he deserves to get what he wants at this point. It's not like Hulk Hogan, where he's a storyteller and he's looking at the writers and saying, hey, bro, that doesn't work for me. Rewrite it. No, he's the one that's helping the writers write it and be like, listen, I'm going to be a heel. This is the way we're going to do it. Let's make a storyline. And then after that, we're going to go through it. That's what we're seeing. So I love it. I love it. But at the same time, the inner wrestling fan in me is just like, dude, you're like 10 years too late, you know?
Yeah, who knows about those politics back then as to why that didn't really take place. I'm sure it's more than just what we saw on screen.
Well, he
But
was the biggest merch seller. Biggest
yeah,
merch seller, and it was a different product back then. It wasn't what it is right now, and it wasn't what it was in the 90s, early 2000s. They
yeah,
weren't
they weren't printing
pertaining.
money the way they are now.
Yeah, they weren't pertaining towards teenagers and middle-aged men. That's what they're doing now. They're getting back to that the same way that they were in the 90s and early 2000s. They were pertaining towards kids during the 2013 2014 PG era. That's what they like to call it, even though I think that is the worst era that we have seen in wrestling history. But you still, Cena wanted to turn heel, and he got told no because he was selling too much merch in different colors. And that's when The Rock came through, and the Fruity Pebbles thing came up, and everything.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. We should have saw this 10 years ago when Vince McMahon was in charge, but Vince pulled the plug on it because he was the biggest merch seller. I do think that this is going to catapult WWE into a new era. The same way that the NWO did, the same way that DX did, and everything like that, Stone Cold and all of them. I see that happening with John Cena. But now the question is, who in the hell are you going to align with John Cena and The Rock? Because that's the main question.
Mhm.
Because the only way that I see this working is if you look at this and try to make a corporate version of Evolution, where The Rock is now in the hands of the Ric Flair of the group. John Cena is now in the hands of the Triple H of the group. And then you have two young stars. Now,
Yeah, you need some youth.
when I'm looking at young stars, the only two that really catch my eye is Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. But I don't see them lining up with that. You know what I mean? I could
Yeah, it's
see
not.
maybe Austin Theory and Grayson
That's
Waller.
I started thinking Theory more so than Waller
Well, yeah,
with the
because
history with Cena.
yeah, and because how Austin Theory is supposed to be like the next John Cena in a lot of people's eyes and everything like that. But another thing that you could do is you could go down to NXT and grab a guy like Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that could happen. But at the end of the day, you still need that one other piece. I don't care if it's one or two other pieces in that group, but Travis Scott cannot be that third person. Travis Scott shouldn't even be allowed in a wrestling ring after what happened at Elimination Chamber. Blown eardrum and I was reading it up. It was a
There was a
blown
black
eardrum.
eye.
Yeah, blown eardrum and a black eye to Cody Rhodes because nobody ended up telling Travis Scott that wrestling was fake. He literally thought that he was going to beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes. So that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My point is Rock, Cena, you need something else there. I don't know if they're going to go with the old route where they're going to bring in somebody that's an older wrestler, kind of maybe like the
Like
Hardy Boys.
maybe create a
Or
Hollywood stable. Bring
yeah,
in
a Hollywood stable. But like at the same time, like when you look at those older wrestlers, who in that older scene do you bring in? Because you're not bringing in Randy Orton.
no, it's
That's
not
for sure.
Orton. The Miz comes to mind, but he still didn't really fit too well.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I
Maybe
mean,
I
you
can see
could
a
bring
world
Punk.
where, yeah, maybe I can see a world where it is just the two most powerful men in WWE taking over. And I know we talked a lot about the Avengers Endgame last year at WrestleMania, but maybe a true Avengers team of Rhodes and Punk and Reigns and Rollins are gonna have to take these guys out
See, I just can't. I can't see
or
that.
bring
Like I
Cena
said,
back to light.
if what I see happening is I see them having a 1 year evolution, and it's not even a 1 year evolution. It's a 1 year. It's a half year evolution, pretty much, where they need to. They're running out of time, and they need to make this storyline now, today. So like they needed this like 2 weeks ago. So in my eyes, what I see happening is I see because I have a feeling that Austin Theory is just going to turn face, so I don't see it happening. But I could see Carmelo Hayes, while they're not utilizing him, be part of this. So what I'm thinking is you have The Rock, you have Cena, you have Carmelo Hayes. On the other side, you have Cody Rhodes, you have CM Punk, obviously, and maybe a Roman Reigns because he's being quiet, or maybe they don't go the Roman Reigns route, and maybe they go the younger route and they add in Braun Breaker. But at the end of the day, do you see John Cena really winning this title after turning heel?
I'm not gonna say no. I can see it happening. I don't know if he'll get it as the heel or not because I still don't think like he's retiring as a heel. I don't think that John
Really?
Cena ends his career as a heel. I think his last match will be as our Super Cena, the guy that we've known for 20 years. I think somehow there will be a crew that brings him back to light towards the end and shows how even the guy that was the Superman for 20 years makes mistakes, a storyline kind of like that. But I still think he'll get 17. They're talking about it too much not to do it.
Yeah, so with me, it's one of two things. I think either way, he's not retiring a champion.
Oh yeah,
I
you
think
can't retire
what,
champion.
yeah, yeah. So what I think is going to happen is I think he's going to retire one of the most hated heels of all time. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going back as a face. I think he's ending his career the same way his career started. And in his eyes, where his career started was Thugonomics John Cena. So for me, what I see happening is once again, I do see him winning that 17th title, but I see some stud that the crowd loves coming through with the Money in the Bank briefcase and cashing in. I really do see that. And then John Cena comes out the next night and retires. I just can't see him. I can't see him turning face again right after he turned heel. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot of things to uncover. Money in the Bank should be on everybody's mind because you can't in WWE. You never go out a champion. You always go out losing your last match. It always ends up happening that way. So we shall see what happens. John Cena's a heel. Big things are coming. Jade looking like the heel to Naomi. We're gonna see what happens on Friday night with both of those. We're going to head into a little Atlanta Seafood and Steaks ad, and then we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw, and then that will be the end of the off the ropes for you today. So make sure that you're staying up with us. We have all the wrestling news, and we'll be right back. So enjoy a little bit of Atlanta Seafood and Steaks.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
That was Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. Make sure you go say hi to Terry on Facebook. You can find it on the East Coast Sports Investors page where you go to friends or whatever, and you can look up his name. I know Atlanta Seafood and Steaks is also on Instagram as well, and probably on Twitter if I'm correct, or X, whatever you guys want to call it. So make sure you go reach out to him. Best steaks in the United States, I would say, in my opinion. I got a box and they're pretty good. So we're gonna head over to Monday Night Raw. We're gonna end up going to the first 5 minutes of the show. CM Punk coming out and raging again. He's doing his old shtick that he's been doing for a few years now. Mr. Pipe Bomb himself comes out. A lot of people are saying that that was not fake. A lot of people were saying that he was supposed to be saying something else and he came through and he did his own thing. How are you feeling about it? Do you think it was real? Do you think that, there needs to be some apologies there? I know he ended up getting fined. Do you think that this was behind the script?
Oh, there was some realism to it. There had to be. He says it how it is. It's CM Punk. Do I think he needs to apologize? I do not. Uh, he said it like it is, and look what the crowd did. The crowd lost their minds for him from standing on the announce table and talking. I don't think there's another person in WWE right now or in pro wrestling that can get a crowd going that quick like that. It's true that he's kind of done this shtick a couple times now. I guess it's the Mick Foley. It's a cheap pop in certain ways, but hey, it really worked this time. Afterwards, the pull apart brawl, it was what it was. We've seen a lot of those recently, I've noticed. That was more so the part that I was a little bit like taken aback by, because we've seen a lot of pull apart brawls in the last little while. Jason Jordan and Hurricane have been getting a lot of work on TV. But the promo itself, I guess he shot from the hip. I didn't overly dislike it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a fan standpoint, 110%, it was what needed to be said and what needed to happen to get Monday Night Raw on the route that it needed to go. But listen, when you have a script and you know, you have to obey by that script as your character and everything like that, and you go against that, and then you not just go against the script, you also badmouth one of the people that are on the board, and that came from the heart. That was not fake. That was all real. Everything that he said there was from the heart. And that's the thing that I've been seeing a lot of with CM Punk and Seth Rollins is it's been no holding back, put everything out there. And you know, there is a lot of hatred between CM Punk and these guys, and you can see it. You can see that Seth Rollins is not happy to work with this guy. You can see that The Rock and him do not get along still. You can see that him calling out John Cena the way that he did and everything like that. At the end of the day, listen, I'm not a Punk fan. I know a lot of people are, and I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism from that, and I know that a lot of people are not going to like that. But at the end of the day, you need to know when to shut your mouth and you need to know when to do your job. And most of the time it's when these big things happen. And at the end of the day, what Seth Rollins has said over and over and over again in the last few weeks is it's not always about CM Punk. And that's 110% true. This has nothing to do with him. So why is he coming out and why is he saying anything about it? I get that that Cody is his friend and everything like that, and Cody actually got hurt, so he was probably pissed about that. But at the end of the day, you got to do your job, and that's what it comes down to. And with CM Punk, he doesn't like to get along. He doesn't like to go with the company. He's not a corporate guy. He likes to go out and do his own thing. That's a problem sometimes. I'm not saying it's a problem all the time because I'm like that as well most of the time, but you gotta know when to cool it. And CM Punk, what I think needs to be said is, listen, this is not your company. You're a great asset, 110%, but you need to rethink what you're doing. And when it comes down to it, yeah, fans loved it. And fans love CM Punk because fans know that CM Punk tells it how it is. But sometimes you just don't need to get involved. And honestly, I think that's why they brought out Seth Rollins when they did, is because they brought him out when he was still talking. If you look at it, he was still talking and he was about to say something to Seth Rollins, and then Seth Rollins got brought out. I don't think that that was storytelling. I don't think that was part of the script. I think they pushed him out of there and said, "Nah, this isn't happening." So with me, I love like I said, I'm not taking anything away from it. I know I sound like a negative person by what's happening in the last week and a half with wrestling. Trust me, I love it, but I look at both sides of it. The corporate side, 110%, not to be happy with what's happening with CM Punk and everything like that. But if you look at the the side of ratings, and if you look at the side of fans and what they want to see, 110% it was great. But you have to look at it from both sides.
Enough said on that one, I think.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So a lot's happening with CM Punk. Do you still think CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns is going to happen at WrestleMania?
It is the most likely option at this point. Yeah, it's still so interesting that we haven't seen Roman in so long.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're cooking up something different for him, but as of now, I can't see any other real options.
Yeah, I mean, having WrestleMania without Mr. WrestleMania is kind of crazy in my eyes. Yes, I know that Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, but in this era, in this wrestling day and age, when you think of WrestleMania, you think of Roman Reigns getting the win, holding up the title. It's been happening the last 4 years. A lot of people have been hating it. I've been loving it because I'm a big Roman Reigns fan. If you ask me, Roman Reigns is my favorite wrestler of all time, and he's my third uh, best wrestler of all time. So if you ask me, I love what Roman Reigns does on whenever he's on the mic, whenever he's in the ring, whenever we get his presence in a WWE setting. It's great, no matter what. But at the end of the day, yes, I do 110% seeing this happen. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. It's going to happen. And honestly, if I was you guys, I would put this on a bet. I would put this, I would put a penny on it and go get $1 back. I'm saying that Paul Heyman is going to turn on Roman Reigns, and that's going to be the favor for CM Punk.
That would certainly escalate things pretty quickly.
Yes,
Past
yes, it would.
Mania in the next year. I like that take.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. WrestleMania season is here once again. We're going to go over to another WrestleMania event here coming up. Bianca Belair ended up winning the Elimination Chamber after all the Jade stuff and everything happened. We were going to get into this. You said you had some interesting takes on this. I think it's going to be a triple threat with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, especially how Rhea Ripley lost her title on a Monday Night Raw, which is unheard of for a world title, to Io Sky. You said that you got something else here. What are we cooking with? What do you think is going to happen?
No, first of all, I do like the triple threat, and I can certainly see that as the most likely option. So if I absolutely had to put money on it, that'd probably be the way I'd go. But what I talked about last week and how we'd never had like a women's non-title match at WrestleMania, maybe that was what they were leading up to with Bianca and Jade. That's out the window now that Bianca's in the title match.
Correct.
You got Bianca in the title picture. You've got Io, obviously, out of nowhere, champ. Rhea can't be just leaving the title picture right away. She's still very much involved. Liv and Raquel are the women's tag champs, but they've got history recently with Bianca, with Rhea, with Jade a little bit. You've got Jade now. You've got Naomi, who are all touching someone who's part of this title match. Triple threat, maybe, but another thing you probably haven't seen at WrestleMania from the women before is a ladder match. There's always a ladder match at WrestleMania. Not saying it's likely, but I can see a world where we've got all these women. We can do so many different things with them and push 3 different storylines out of this match. Throw them all in there together, have a show-stealing ladder match.
All right. I don't hate it. But the thing that I will say is that big picture, we talked about Money in the Bank for the males. Let's talk about Money in the Bank for the women's. Could we not see Bianca Belair patch things up with Jade Cargill? Jade Cargill goes and wins the Money in the Bank and then cashes in and turns heel on Bianca Belair?
You could see that down the road. If Bianca ends up being champion, then it has to be Jade Cargill that gets involved and maybe goes to SummerSlam and faces her, because that match will be epic.
Or just cash in at WrestleMania. I mean, if they bring back the Money in the Bank matches at WrestleMania and she wins right there and then after that cashes in the same night, crowd's going to go crazy.
Yeah, if there was a Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania, that'd be another good move.
Yeah, and I think that's what the plan is, because they've been eyeing that Money in the Bank stuff, and that he said that it wasn't going to be its own pay-per-view anymore. I could see it happening at WrestleMania, because back then, way back when the Money in the Bank first started, that was the original spot. It was at WrestleMania where we saw the Money in the Bank match happen. If you don't remember, RVD, Edge, there was a bunch of people that won Money in the Banks at WrestleMania. Oh, yeah. So if they do bring it back, and if Jade Cargill is in the match, that's a perfect way that you could turn Jade heel as well, just to stop the storyline, but continue it going. Continue seeing what we're going to get. Make Bianca like the Triple H, and make Jade like the Batista, where Jade is eyeing Jade Cargill and then finally turns on her. That type of thing. I could see that definitely happening with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, just such a good women's division when you list those names and really think of it. Jade,
Yeah.
Bianca, Rhea, Liv. if Roxanne was in there, Alexa, Bailey. There's so many options.
110% agree. 110% agree. Especially Roxanne. Roxanne is putting out her best product right now, and a lot of people are getting behind her. I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people. I like what she's putting out for a product in the WWE standpoint, and not being on NXT. Because if you look at it, you know, these female wrestlers, they don't get called up all the time, and we saw it with Valkyra, and we saw it with now Roxanne Perez, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Roxanne more than I like what I'm seeing from Valkyra.
Yeah, there's only so many spots right now. This year's WrestleMania is looking pretty packed already, so we'll see if Roxanne can get involved, but she'll be on Manias to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna give you one more ad real quick, then we're gonna close it out. Viva Tequila Seltzer is next up on the list, so just sit back and enjoy the ad.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
That's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
That was Viva Tequila Seltzer. Make sure you go get a few elderberry, grapefruit, watermelon, lemon, and coconut. From what I know of, I'm pretty sure there's one more that I'm forgetting there, but I just can't think of it. But yeah, those are good as well. I don't know if you ever tried them, Eric, but if you haven't, I would go get a few because I personally like them.
Well, not yet, but we have to check them out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. That has been all for Off the Ropes. I'm Live Zone. That's Eric. Eric, let them know where they can find you on social medias.
You can find me, Eric Dominguez, on Instagram, Eric Dominguez Events on YouTube. Always like going to events. Background behind me from SummerSlam this year. Always at all those big shows. So thanks for watching Off the Ropes, guys. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you can find me on all the East Coast Sports Investors profiles, as well as I am one of the ones running those platforms. So you could catch me there. You could also catch me on Off the Ropes, on Dynamics on the Hardwood, on the Extra Point. Mozzie, I know you guys been missing him. Mozzie is going to be starting the Mozzie Minutes more. And yeah, we're going to get it rolling. Make sure you look up the breakfast bankroll, as well as the closing bell on Jeff Dawson's side, because he has those a lot of times during the week. Actually, we do Monday through Friday here, so make sure you're staying tuned with us. We got all the wrestling news, all basketball news, all college sports news, all baseball news, all football news, and hockey news, as well as some MMA and UFC. So just make sure you're staying tuned and checked out for that. Have a great day, and we will see you next week.